And we're live, or sort of. I am live streaming, no, live casting the finals of ZOTAC. This is indeed the finals of ZOTAC, with Lucifer spawning as the blue undead in the top versus Kenshin spawning as the red human in the bottom. This is a live game, so just so we're all aware, this is live. So if anything, there's any technical issues, there's nothing I can do about them. I'll try to edit them out if there is, like any long pauses or anything. But I'm just letting you all know that's what this is. This is live. So, unfortunately, it's not being streamed. That's the only thing that's a little annoying, but there's nothing I can do about that. So, unfortunately. But I'm excited because these are live. I have no idea what's going to happen, and I love the excitement. So, if you don't know who wins these games, you're gonna get, it's almost the same excitement. It's not quite the same as live. It doesn't matter to me, you know, if it's WOG TV or whatever, but watching games live, it's something special. So I can't wait until I have a live streaming setup so I can actually stream these games live. It's good. I can't wait. But there is a little problem with the lag here. If I do, I might get lagged out, and if that happens, then I will have to go through WOG TV or something. But it looks like it's gonna be fine. So we'll see. What is he saying? Anyway, yeah, sorry. And so we do have Kenshin doing a fairly standard build, and over here we can see that Lucifer doing his fairly standard build as well. Now, Lucifer needs to be a little bit careful because the last time we saw him build like this right here, he did get his DK trapped in this little area, and I think he was forced to unsummon his shop. So hopefully that won't happen currently again. But let me say yes. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. We'll see what happens. But that was a little bit. Hopefully we won't see that happen. We're gonna see. And I'm basically repeating myself now, stumbling over my words. Whew, it's been a long day. It has been a long day, guys. It has been a long day. But here you can see this is indeed, he's gonna go ahead and not get trapped this time, which is a good thing. Get his Rod of Necromancy. We do have this footman running in here. The Nubian Tower just started to go up, and where he's going to see Lucifer using those ghouls offensively in a good way to keep these, or defensively, I suppose you could say, in a good way to keep things from actually picking off an acolyte or something. Over here we can see that the Archmage is down here creeping out this goblin laboratory. And we can see that the Death Knight is, in fact, going to run over here, grab some skeletons, maybe do a little bit of harass onto this Archmage, and he's going to see what he can do with these skeleton warriors to chase these guys down. Now, the Death Knight is running around, and we're going to see just exactly what happens. Lucifer running up this way, getting the skeleton warriors away, not trying to lose or feed any experience to Kenshin, who I'm very happy about this. I'm very happy to see Kenshin in the finals. I'm also very happy to see Lucifer in the finals. This is a good finals, I think. I really do think this is a good finals. So we're going to see what happens. I'm a little bit happy. I just am. Just happy. Nothing wrong with being happy, guys. So here we can see that this is Lucifer teching up, and he did go ahead and get down a second Ziggurat before that tech started, as well as a Fiend coming out. So here we can see that, the Crypt has actually gone ahead and finished pumping out that very first Fiend, getting a second one coming out now as well. And here you can see Lucifer still just doing his harass. And this is, of course, just a green camp here, so not a really big deal there. But here we can see that the Archmage is going to run around and attack this. Yeah, of course, we have Kenshin, who is actually hosting the game. I believe Lucifer and Kenshin are going to alternate hosting these games, so it'll be interesting. And of course we can see the spikes are happening. Those spikes, hopefully they're not too bad or annoying to you guys. I don't think they're gonna be a problem. They're not really too often. They're not happening too often. And they're probably going to smoothen out a little bit. As you can see right here, they're pretty smooth now too. So hopefully it's not a big deal. If it is, if you guys really are against it, the next time that I have this, you'll just let me know whenever all these games get uploaded. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about the 5 that are going to happen here. Assuming that I am going to be in the lobby of each one of them, we'll find out. I don't know if the WOG TV would be any better. I can only imagine it'd probably be a little bit worse. I don't know if that's true or not, but I generally don't have the best of luck with WOG TV when watching live games that are already spiky, but it depends on the streamer, of course. So if they're laggy, if they're spiky, then you're going to be even worse usually. So we'll see, but that may not happen. WOG TV may be just fine. Of course, Bidu is just fine in the host, as we saw him say. Now I'm talking not about the game, and this game deserves my full attention. So I'm going to stop reading the chat and continue talking about the game, where we can see these are some fiends, 3 fiends out, and we can going to see Lucifer going ahead and going ahead and killing this water elemental right there, getting it, and as it tried to deny itself, not quite fast enough. Water elementals are quite slow. That is the 4th fiend out on the field right there. We don't see anything too much going on over here. We can really see that there are going to be 4 fiends coming down here with quite a few footmen. That is, I believe, 7 footmen on the field with a level 3 archmage who happens to have some extra militia running into this expo to help defend it. Really needs to do whatever he can to defend this expansion. He did do a really good job against Seshi in the earlier game with defending his position, his expansion, doing pretty much the exact same build as we can see right here, the 2 towers side by side by this town hall. And Seshi, I believe, didn't quite do the same strategy Lucifer is most likely going to be doing right here, if this is the same thing we've been seeing so very much from him, where he's doing the delayed tier 2, getting the slaughterhouse creeping a little bit at this point. We're going to see if that happens, and I'm going to suspect that's what we're going to be seeing. Getting the altar of getting the lich out as well as he can. Here we see a water elemental actually coming into Lucifer's base, doing a little bit of harass on this slaughterhouse, and might go down and before he expires, and that would feed Lucifer a little bit of experience here, and we'll see if that happens. It's going to be very, very close. Let's watch the experience bar, and it looks like he just expires just as the last bit of volleys run toward him. So unfortunate for Lucifer. However, he's going to be able to creep a little bit, get to level 2, no problem right here. And over here we can see that Kenshin's still creeping out. Kenshin knows that since Lucifer is creeping, he's going to be very, very close to his base, and that going in here and harassing his base at this point really isn't going to be the most effective use of Kenshin's time. So instead, he's going to creep, which is much more effective use of his time, especially if he's denying the creeps that are nearby his expansion. That's important for 2 reasons. One, it allows him to stay near his expansion while he creeps, just in case Lucifer pulls a fast one, but also, and more importantly, I think personally, is that if Lucifer is creeping this expansion and he has, for some reason, a need to back away from that expansion, and he decides to take a moment to creep, he won't be able to do it very near the expansion. So that's also very useful. Here you can see Lucifer having his Lich out and his Death Knight. Going to go ahead and get a Nova off on these footmen, trying to pick off the footmen. Killing the footmen is your main priority right there at this point, because the less footmen that are alive, the less footmen that can potentially get into your base and infiltrate and attack your Ziggurats and your gold mine and everything else that's going on in your base. And the whole point of that is you want to prevent that as much as you can, and that is one of the things we see with Lucifer, where he has spirit towers going up, and in fact we're going to go ahead and see that happen, where he's willing to attack this expansion while the human's opponent army is in his base attacking his acolytes and such things, and he just micros both very beautifully. And we're going to see what happens. This is, of course, Kenshin being stuck in his base, or in his expo right here, while Lucifer is attacking it. We see several fiends on the field. That is 5 fiends. We're going to probably see more on the way, as well as meat wagons. And are we going to see some attack damage upgrades for the meat wagons? That'll be interesting. We do generally see him upgrade to match the masonry, so we'll see what happens in that regards. The masonry, of course, not quite finished level 1 yet, but it's on its way. It'll probably finish before this shop goes down, in fact. Here you can see this micro going off. These are defended footmen. Defended footmen are very good against fiends, as you can see, for buying time. They're really not hugely effective in such small numbers as far as killing fiends goes, but they will buy time, and that's what you have to do as a human, is buy time and bank. That is it. And if you can do those 2 things, you'll be in good shape. As you can see, Lucifer picking these things off, getting level 3 on his Death Knight. That's a big deal. Going to try to kill his water elemental, not going to be able to do it in time before it expires. Over here we can see he's probably going to switch and try to kill these peasants. In fact, look at that. That peasant is going to go down. No way he can keep that alive once it started taking all that volley damage. And here we can see a footman defending beautifully, running away while it defends, and then undefending to get out of there once those volley have all hit, which is very effective. Here you can see this meat wagon is attacking now. There's really not too many towers here, and on this side of the map, or on this side of the expansion, I mean, if this shop goes down, those 2 towers are in a bad spot for being, as far as being able to stay alive right there. But as it is, it looks like Lucifer might just ignore the towers and attack the town hall. As you can see, this is a good positioning of the towers in this position, because they can attack, they can reach these fiends, which means the fiends really can't attack the town hall as freely as they would like to. And it makes it much harder for Lucifer to do this wagon push. Now I do see these footmen are going for this wagon. And Lucifer is going to be forced to have to try to go ahead and do whatever he can to stop this wagon from going down. That means he's going to have to deal with these summons and these footmen as well at the same time, as well as an archmage. This is a difficult thing to do. As you can see, he's trying to micro them away. He's trying to keep them alive, doing little bits of things like blocking with the fiend there for just a little bit at that corner, but mostly he just needs to attack and kill him. At this point, he's kind of resigned the fact that one of them is going to die, and probably both of them. As you can see, he's just kind of going ahead and getting a couple whacks off as a final death blow. He might actually be able to keep him alive, though, now now that he's running him away again, it's going to look very, very close. This is an illusion that's actually hitting them. The Archmage is not real, but will this footman go down is the real question before it manages to finish this off. Is there a Nova? There isn't a Nova to stop that, to slow it down. Lucifer attacking that image for some reason instead of that footman, just to go ahead and kill that. Absolutely amazingly good micro for keeping them alive for so long, but only one of them going down. I do believe this one's not going to last very long once Kenshin decides to kill it with a water elemental, but we do see more on the way, and it looks like Lucifer isn't doing the prolonged tier 2. He's in fact going ahead and working on getting tier 3, and this wagon's still alive at 37 HP. A footman went in to try to kill it. Now we're going to see a water elemental come in to try to kill it. Will Lucifer notice this in time? It looks like he may very well notice it just in the very nick of time. The wagon running away at 11 HP, barely getting away from this. This is a thing he's going to try to bait. Yes, he did bait the nuke on that illusion, trying to show, trying to bait the illusion by sending the illusion over there. I'm sorry, trying to bait the nuke by sending the illusion. Very clever use of the thing at Kenshin. Sorry, yes. This wagon all the way over here attacking the Town Hall Steel. Here we can see that the Archmage is going to run in here and get one whack off on it to kill it. Now that is a big deal. The more wagons that die, the longer that Kenshin lives. That's effectively how this works. As you can see, he's going to tier 3 right now over here. Quadruple building his Arcane Sanctums, getting them up as fast as he can, getting that Blacksmith out, and getting that tier 3 as well. His Mountain King is out and alive. Here you can see doing everything in his power to keep this expansion alive, of repairing it with so many peasants, just trying to keep it alive as long as he can. It looks like this meat wagon is also now starting to take a lot of damage. Will he be able to keep it alive? Again, as we can see before, it looks like this time it's not going to happen. There's a Mountain King coming in on the other side, as well as a chasing Archmage and a Water Elemental. Here we can see that the Water Elemental will go down, and here we can see some Ghoul bringing a Orb of Corruption as well as a Mana Potion. The Mana Potion will be picked up by the Death Knight, in fact, or he will, yeah, there you go, picking it up. And here we can see that this is basically, here we can see basically the humans just running around doing what they have to do. Now we do see that this is the tower that's going to be picked off, no problem for Lucifer. With these fiend-based army, he's not really going to have much of an issue killing these towers because they do so much damage to him. As you can see, even with level 2 masonry, are you going to see any more wagons? In fact, I don't know if we will. I don't believe Lucifer has really invested in the wagons, but it looks like it's not a huge deal. He doesn't have to worry too much because he can't just come in here and start killing peasants as well as this Goblin Shredder. Killing the Goblin Shredder is a big deal. Is it going to happen? It looks like it might go down. Oh, it's very, very close. It's down to 23 life, and it's going to live just in the nick of time. And here we can see some militia coming in as well as these Spellbreakers, and it looks like a Crypt Fiend getting bolted in tower range, but however, he does get coiled, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive, just enough to basically waste those malicious time a little bit. And now we see Lucifer having to back off away from these Spellbreakers, running away and essentially getting another Fiend bolted. Is he going to be able to get a coil off? He gets a coil off to full heal the Fiend, and the Fiend is going to be able to probably live no problem as it runs away. At this point now we can see Lucifer is not in a great shape here. His whole strategy revolves really right now, from what I've seen, from working on and killing that expansion. He may end up deciding to do a counter expansion at this point. That would not be a bad move. In fact, I think that would be a very well advised move to go ahead and go for a counter expansion here. Or Frostworms. That is also a good move, because actually that's probably an even better move. I just realized, because there's only a couple of towers here, and he could pick those off very easily if he just has a bit more staying power. And with that Frostworm, oh boy, he will have staying power, especially with this Wand of Illusion, actually a perfect item drop. If he wants to have, he can have now 2 or 3 Frostworms whenever that Frostworm gets there. It'll be very confusing, and Kenshin will have a much harder time actually figuring out which one is the real one, because even though most units are pretty easy to tell apart with a Wand of Illusion, a Frostworm is actually quite difficult just because it is a massive unit. And it's flying. The fact that it's flying is really a big deal, because it can sit there. We can see actually that Mountain King looks like he stole that with a bolt. The experience, at least. I'm not 100% sure. I think he might have even got the item as well. It looks like he did. Got that Wand of Illusion. So many good uses of Wand of Illusion that we've seen today. Here comes that Frostworm coming in. It's going to be able to really put out a lot of pressure on the heroes. Is this Fiend going to go down? The Fiend goes down, going ahead and pushing out tons of pressure on this hero. Here you can see it's going to force a TV. No, he just got Nova'd and killed. So that's going down on the Arc. The Archmage has gone down, and now we can see this Footman, or I'm sorry, this Frostworm at 2-0 attack upgrades, being focused down by the Water Elementals, but not a huge deal for the Frostworm, of course, with 1350 HP. That's pretty big. Here we can see the Archmage has been revived from the tavern, and we can see this is Tree Hero for the human, but he is 4-1-1, and that's really not going to be enough to really stay alive against 4-3, most likely. I don't believe, especially with this Death Knight almost to level 5 and this Lich almost to level 4, as well as having a Frostworm on the field. And there we go, we see the these are 2 Wands of Illusions being used on these Frostworms, and the fact that the air units stack on top of each other makes this incredibly difficult for whenever he wants to start attacking things. This could be scary for Kenshin. However, I'm sure he will know without a doubt that some of that is absolutely going to be not real. But as you can see, it takes so much extra damage from magic attacks that these towers are going to be in a big issue. This Frostworm attacks basically very similarly to a full mana Destro, except it doesn't do as much AoE. And you can see that Kenshin has decided to start TPing in, and of course Seshi is starting to lag. He's probably going to leave the game or get kicked here in just a second, but here we go. A good time to take a drink of water, a sip of water, whatever you want to call it. And here you can see a couple of towers did go down, and really Lucifer's in a great position right here. If we look back, we can see that he doesn't have much else going on, but he is getting web at this point. And oh, Ashlar is now lagging. Looks like the game is having a little bit of problems right now. These are technical difficulties. Don't worry about them. I know, just consider it adds to the excitement. I'm not going to edit this out unless it's like really long, because just because then my voice would sound all weird. It'd be like a clip, cut thingy. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so we can see Lucifer is attacking this workshop. It's level 2 masonry, and he does have 2-0, and I think, yeah, 2-0. Okay, 2-0. Here comes another Frostworm being built on the map for Lucifer. He's up to 59 food, and we have, of course, Kenshin actually at 60 food as well. So this may very well be enough to actually go ahead and end the game here for Lucifer. Let's see, is there really enough to happen over here that can happen that could really do something to push this off? I'm not sure. We do have a Dragonhawk Rider on the way out, but with web being researched, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Now we do see this is Kenshin's Town Hall being focused right here, taking a lot of damage, but here is Kenshin's army with these a second Dragonhawk Rider. Actually, I didn't notice that there's also a Griffin Avery down there. Now, are these upgraded? They only have 1-0 and 1-1 on these Spellbreakers. Not quite as dangerous as you might think. Here you can see that the web is breaking the Dragonhawk's chains. Let's see, another web happening to keep and breaking those out. Now we can see what's going to happen is this. We can see something happen here. We can see the Mountain King taking a bunch of focus fire as well, getting some peons or peasants taking some damage as well. And the Lich is also being focused down by these Spellbreakers. He's out of mana at this point. Here we're going to see another Dragonhawk Rider going in. Maybe this is the first one it didn't get. I don't think it got killed. And here we can see it taking a bit of focus fire damage, and it might go down very quickly to focus fire. The Lich did get a coil just a second ago. The Death Knight taking a lot of damage as well, with no real survivability items except for a TP. The second worm coming into the fight. Will this be enough? Now this Lucifer does have a very low HP Death Knight at this point. Does he risk fate? Does he keep his micro up and just try to do something here? Here you can see another Dragonhawk Rider being used very effectively here. These units are in the back. Without the heroes, though, the Undead Army is in a much worse raggy tag position, I guess you could say. And his heroes really can't participate in these fights as well as they'd like to. So here you can see them a little bit running back at this point. Here we have this Water Elemental doing whatever he can do to try to basically scout and find out. However, it ended up just feeding level 5 for the Death Knight. So who was in an advantageous position here? I don't know. I think it might be Kenshin, but of course hero levels are so important in this matchup, and he just doesn't match the hero levels that Lucifer has. However, Lucifer does not have a Tree Hero at this point, and without Tree Hero, it's not quite as good, so we might see him pick up a third one. We might not. Here we can see that there's going to be a lot of focus fire going on to this Mountain King, and it's going to get healing scrolled, or a healing light, holy lighted, and it goes down anyway. Here we can see some more illusions on these Frostworms, and we can see that there are more Dragonhawk Riders out to go ahead, and now they're getting webbed, freeing those, freeing up the Frostworms yet again. And here we can see these Knights aren't going to be very effective with all with all of these units on. Now we can see this is actually going to go ahead and be chaining a illusion, not very effective. And here you can see this Death Knight running around with very low HP. Another unit going down. There's our Frostworm illusion just sitting up there doing nothing. Archmage taking a ton of damage. Will he go down? He could actually die right here. He doesn't have any items to live, and he does die. In fact, the Paladin could as well die. He's not very... he does have an Divine Shield, but how much is that going to be useful? We'll see. It's only going to be used really to stay alive just momentarily longer. A third Frostworm is out on the field at this point. This one is not an illusion. That is 21 food in Frostworms. That's a lot of. That's a big deal. That's a lot of damage, and it's also pretty scary. It's a very scary thing. Each one dealing 100 damage a hit. That's so much damage to units. Here we can see, is Lucifer going to be forced to TP out? I don't know. as you can see right here, we do have a aerial shackles. That's what it's called. I was trying to remember the name of it. A shackles being used. It's gonna have to dark ritual a frost worm. Look how much mana that lich has now, and a lot. And this frost worm is very low HP at this point, and he is going to be able to coil that up at some point whenever he has more mana. But is he going to just back off at this point? That's going to be interesting. I'm not sure he really should be doing that. He does go ahead and also have destroyer form. And 2 more statues are out. He's at this tavern. He may be contemplating buying a 3rd hero. That would be a really good idea to get a Drow Ranger. I'm sorry, a Drow Ranger. It's got the Dota custom keys. And okay, this is a Dark Ranger. Getting the Dark Ranger out would be really nice to have some silence. And silence is essentially going to allow him to silence these Dragonhawk Riders and prevent their things from being cast. And yes, indeed, that is the Dark Ranger being out. That's very good with 5/5 on his other heroes. 5/5/1. These are 2/2 over here, and if they get silenced, they're going to be effectively worthless because they can't really do much without without their abilities. Now, you are going to see a lot of focus fire and a lot of damage immediately going off on this Town Hall. One of the things we might also end up seeing at some point in this game, I don't know, let's quickly look and see. Yeah, is the Frostworm upgrade to freeze buildings when they attack it. I don't know if we'll see it, but here is an aerial shackles being cast, and it's going to get webbed, and I believe even silenced maybe. I'm not sure what just got silenced there. It looks like the Mountain King is what got silenced, and here we can see more damage going off onto this Town Hall. There's only 2 peasants repairing this. Make that 1 peasant, and maybe before long that might not be any peasants. But here we can see another aerial shackles being webbed out of position and going to go down as well. And here we can see another aerial shackles going off. They can cast it again once they're webbed, but only if they have the mana to and the cooldown. The Paladin silenced and goes down, unfortunately unable to cast his Divine Shield because he was silenced. Here you can see another Dragonhawk actually silenced as well, and that silence lasts a very much longer time on units than it does on heroes. You can see this Frostworm really not able to do too much to that fact that it's being webbed, silenced right, or shackled right there. Of course, when they're shackled, they can't actually attack and they slowly take damage over time. So here we can see essentially what's going on. It looks like, yes, level 3 aura. That's a very good move, I believe, because he doesn't really need to worry about losing his Death Knight at this point. It's level 6. It's incredibly tanky. He has 1.12. Well, I don't know how to say it. It's like 1125 HP, I guess you would say. HP on this Death Knight, and lots of spikes right there at the very end of the game as Kenshin calls GG. And of course the players, at least Kenshin is not experiencing any spikes, I don't believe, because he was the host, but Lucifer may have been, who knows, but he didn't complain about lag, so probably not. Wow, 90 units killed for Lucifer. An excellent job done by Lucifer. Absolutely just controlled the game. And that Frostworm strategy, very nice. It was very, very effective. Essentially, especially because there weren't a lot of towers up by Kenshin at that expansion. He felt fairly safe. He thought he was dealing with a wagon push. The wagon push ended up in a, holy crap, there's Frostworms. So, this game 1, and I'll see you in game 2.